How's it going, Nate? Welcome back to the Great Green North. This is the channel where I help get your lawn from brown and disgusting to green and ugly in an entire span of the year. So if that sounds like a plan to you, hit the subscribe button down below. So I'm here in my garage again, and I'm gonna be recording a video like this, hopefully once a week from now on. We've hit a snag with the polar vortex that has come in, and that is what we're gonna be talking about today. So today we're gonna be talking about the polar vortex and what this means for your lawn and the rest of the lawn care season. So for those of you who don't know, here up in Canada and a little bit down in the south, I think down in Buffalo, Michigan area, you guys got hit by a polar vortex. I think most of North America got hit by a polar vortex last week into last weekend. Today is the first warm day we have had since May 1st. So today was 14 degrees. That's the warmest it's been since May 1st. We got 2 snowfalls since then. It's the first time it's snowed here in Canada since it snowed here in Southern Ontario since 1985 in May, and this is the coldest May I've ever seen. It felt like March. So because of the polar vortex, I've been getting a lot of questions about what does this mean for my lawn. Well, it's a hard question to say because if sustained lower temperatures come in for a long period of time, it can shift our soil temps. And our soil temps, as we talked about, is the most important thing. So, and as well, sustained lower temperatures and frost, which we've received quite a bit of frost this week, will affect your lawn's growth. So for those of you who already got out and did your first mow, and we're hoping to get back into mowing twice a week, you might have been stunted a little bit with your mowing because of the effects of the polar vortex that just came in. So why does frost hurt grass? Well, just imagine taking a loaf of bread and putting it in the freezer so it lasts longer. This is the exact same thing with grass. When you put grass in the freezer, which is when frost comes, it goes into a dormancy stage, which helps it survive that period of stress. So because of this frost freezing, I had to take about a week off mowing. And by the time I got back to mowing, the lawn is not growing as much as it normally does for this time of year. So a lot of you are asking, what does this mean for mowing? Well, unfortunately, this is another one where I'm gonna say it's up to you. You're gonna have to look at your temperatures. Look at when that hotter trend is coming in. And when the warmer trend is coming in, you know your lawn is gonna pick up. Now you know that I encourage cutting twice a week. So what you're gonna do is just as you see those warmer temperatures coming in, and when those frost advisories are going away, you're gonna go ahead and hit a mow. Even if the lawn has not grown what you normally would consider the 1/3 rule for mowing, you're gonna go ahead and mow. This is gonna hopefully start to kickstart the grass growing again. This is what I did today, and it has definitely started kickstarting the grass, kickstarting the lawn into getting back growing again. After that, if you see sustained warm temperatures and your frost advisories are gone, go ahead back to mowing normal twice a week. Hopefully you can get your lawn growing as best as possible. Now because of this polar vortex, I know a lot of you are asking, what does this mean for my FERT and my pre-emergent that I've already put down? Well, your pre-emergent should be fine. The frost that we had now isn't really gonna affect anything. The snow that we had, as I said, is just powdered rain, so it's all the same that I've been talking about for the last few weeks. When the cold temps come in, people freak out a little bit. They're not used to cold temps like this in May. Nobody is. We broke records for how cold it was. So because of that, people aren't gonna be used to it, people are gonna be worried, but as long as it should be fine. The temperatures were not anywhere close to what would be considered damaging for putting down pre-emergent. So your pre-emergent and your FERT are gonna be fine. Soil temps only dropped about 1 or 2 degrees in my area, so they're gonna be fine. Soil temps already above 50, they're staying above 50, so you're gonna be fine for your pre-emergent, you're gonna be fine for your FERT. All that you might have to do is, because you're stunted, your FERT might not work as well into the year. Your urea, your long-lasting nitrogen, your slow-release FERTs might not work as well because of the stunting. But all that means is you're just gonna have to apply another FERT application, which we're gonna talk about what to do after coming up. So before we get into what you should do after the polar vortex, let's talk about some frequently asked questions I get about the polar vortex. We're gonna do some spitfire here, quickly answer the questions. So the first one I get is, can I water during the polar vortex? No. When that water goes onto your lawn, it will freeze and crystallize on the grass blades, causing more damage once you get into a frost section. So as you're probably getting snow or rain as we were, so just back off on the watering for a few days. It's gonna cause more damage than help. The second question I get is, can I walk on the lawn? Now I would suggest not to. And there's a reason for this. When the lawn is frozen, when it's frosted, those crowns of that grass plant have frozen. When you step on it, you crush the crowns. So if you look out on your lawn and you see that like white crystallized water look, do not walk on your lawn. You're going to cause more damage than help. So I would just suggest during a polar vortex period, you can go out and look on your lawn, maybe when the sun comes out, maybe on a little bit of warmer day, but if it's a cold day, it just snowed, I would suggest staying off the lawn until the snow has melted or until about noon, once temperatures have come up enough that you know that there's no long-lasting frost on your lawn anymore. The final frequently asked question I get is, will this have a long-lasting effect on my lawn? Now this is a question that is definitely hard to answer because, as I said, we broke records this week. So this has never happened before. We don't know what the effects on it is. But I do have one thing to say. The springtime is the largest growing period of the lawn season. So if you get a lot of cold and stunting in that springtime, all it's going to do is it's just going to shift that growing period later in the year. So because of that, we're going to have drier conditions. We're already having super dry conditions right now, which I'm going to be talking about next week, what to do with that. So because we're already having super dry conditions now, if we're not expecting a very wet summer, this will have an effect on your lawn, as that main growing period will be trying to happen during a period of stress. It's not necessarily going to hurt anything. If your lawn is pre-established, you're not going to see a mass dying or a mass excessy of all your grass seeds. All you're gonna see is that maybe if you're hoping to get a little bit more growth, a little bit more expansion in the spring this year, you might not have the opportunity to do that because we've lost our growing season. It's been shortened because of the cold weather. So the final question I get is what to do now that I'm coming out of the polar vortex. Now I kind of touched on this a little bit at the start of the video, but first of all, we're gonna touch on mowing. So for mowing, what you're gonna do is you're gonna check to see when your frost advisories are coming up, when temps are recovering. You're gonna go ahead and get a mow in. Now, you're gonna get that mow in. You're probably not gonna mow off a lot because the lawn hasn't been growing a lot over the frost, but if it's been a week, like it was here, go ahead, get that mow in. You'll mow enough and hopefully you'll start the grass to grow again. Then after that, you're gonna try to get back on your twice a week mowing, depending on conditions. If it's really dry or if the lawn doesn't seem to be responding very well to your mowing, you can cut back. But just hold off a little bit with the mowing. You're gonna assess your temperatures when temps are coming back up, then you can get back into it, get back into your twice a week routine, and hopefully that will help boost things a little bit in the lawn without fertilizer. Speaking of fertilizer, a lot of people are probably gonna start asking, should I put down another fertilizer application? Was my fertilizer application botched by these cold temperatures? Well, I don't know if I would suggest putting down another fertilizer application just yet, but stay tuned for my video in this garage next week where I'm going to talk about fertilizer applications in May and when I suggest to put down. So hold off on your fertilizer, just focus on mowing twice a week. That's kind of a natural stimulant. Plus, in the later May in Southern Ontario, we get a lot of thunderstorms. And for those of you who don't know, thunderstorms release natural nitrogen through lightning. So the nitrogen you get in your fertilizer that you put down comes naturally through lightning, and that's why a lot of times lawns green up and grow really well in the spring, is because of all the thunderstorms. It's the same thing in August when we start to get a lot of thunderstorms that helps green up and grow the lawn. So since thunderstorms release natural nitrogen, I wouldn't suggest, say that 10 times fast, natural nitrogen. Natural nitrogen, natural nitrogen, I can't do it. So because of that, I would suggest to hold off on your fertilizer. I'm gonna tell you when to fertilize later in May in my upcoming video. So click that subscribe button down below so you can see when to fertilize in May. But focus on mowing twice a week. So because of that, I'm gonna encourage you guys to hold off on your fertilizer because of the natural nitrogen. And I'm gonna subscribe down below to you so you can see when to fertilize in May. But just focus on frequent mowing and proper taking care of the lawn. If it's really dry, you can hit it with some water as long as temps have recovered. Speaking of water, as long as temps have recovered, go ahead and hit it with some water. You want to water deep and infrequent. So you want to water a half an inch 2 times a week instead of watering a 1/4 of an inch 4 times a week. So we're going to be talking about watering next week as well. So click that subscribe button down below. We're going to give you a full outline for your May lawn tips coming up. So that's it. So I hope this video helped you. I hope you guys are finally getting through the cold temps. I know it feels like we've been locked up and we've been talking about, oh, what to do when spring finally comes for months now, and it's crazy. So I hope this video helped you. As always, leave a comment down below with a question. Most of the time these videos are answering your comments down below. So if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment down below asking me questions. I'm sorry for you who asked me questions on the last video. We got cut up with this polar vortex, and I got a big video coming next week. So without further ado, from the Great Green North, my name is Wade Murray. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Hit that subscribe button to get the greenest lawn on the block in the spring. And from the Great Green North, my name is Wade Murray. Keep it green.